Welcome to Dr. J. Francis YouTube channel. Are you thinking about going overseas with advance parole? You may not get back in. There's a major change happening at U.S. port of entries that you need to know about. If you have an advance parole, a notice to appear, or history of unlawful presence, you are at risk of being denied entry or even detained when returning to the U.S. This is not just a rumor. The reports are coming that Customs and Border Protection (CBP) officers are taking a much stricter approach, even ignoring valid advance parole documents in some cases. This means that what worked before may not work now. Hi, I'm Attorney J. Francis. I'm a U.S. immigration lawyer serving all 50 states. Many people assume that having advance parole means that they are safe to travel. But this is not always the case. Before we get into who is at risk, let's take a moment to explain what advance parole actually is, why it matters. Number one, what is advance parole? Advance parole is a travel document issued by USCIS that allows certain non-citizens to re-enter the U.S. without a visa after traveling abroad. It is commonly granted to DACA recipients, green card applicants with a pending adjustment of the status cases, TPS holders, or certain humanitarian cases. Many people believe that having advance parole guarantees a re-entry, but that is not true. It's not true. It only allows you to request admission at the border or point of entry. CBP officers have the final say. This is a key point. They have a final say. And that's where the risk comes in. Number two, so who is at risk now? Anyone with active notice to appear, NTA, is at risk. If you have a pending immigration court case, your re-entry could be blocked, and you may be detained at the border or point of entry. Also, individuals with a past unlawful presence is at risk. If you previously stayed in the U.S. without valid immigration status, even if you have now an advance parole, CBP could refuse to let you in. It means that you're not allowed to enter the U.S., thus triggering 3 to 10-year entry bar, and that you may lose your pending adjustment of the status case. Bottom line is this: you're going overseas and you're solely relying on 512 advance parole, then you're at risk. Some travelers with advance parole are facing unexpected denials at the airports or land borders. CBP officers have been questioning the validity of their documents, especially if there's a history of unlawful presence. But what does this mean for you? If you are considering international travel and fall into any of these categories, you need to think twice. Leaving the U.S. could mean you're stuck outside or face detention upon return. I'm going to repeat one more time. You may be stuck overseas, or you may be put into a detention center. Number 3, what does unlawful presence mean? You may be wondering, what exactly is unlawful presence? And how does it affect reentry? Unlawful presence refers to any time spent in the U.S. without lawful immigration status. This may happen if you overstay a visa, if you enter the U.S. without inspection, or if your status expires and you remain in the U.S. without authorization. If you have accumulated more than 180 days of unlawful presence, leaving the U.S. could trigger 3 or 10-year entry bar. This is a key point, making it very difficult to return legally. Until now, those with valid advance parole could return to the United States, even with the past unlawful presence. However, CBP recently issued a stern warning, that they may look into your past unlawful presence more carefully, completely, and potentially deny your reentry into the United States. This is why, even with advance parole, past unlawful presence puts you at risk when traveling abroad. Number 4, what is NTA, notice to appear? Now, let's talk about another major risk factor, having a notice to appear on you. If you are currently in removal proceedings or have ever received NTA, your reentry to the U.S. is not guaranteed, even if you have a valid advance parole document. An NTA is a formal charging document issued by Department of Homeland Security that places a non-citizen in removal proceedings before immigration judge. It means the U.S. government is trying to remove you from the United States. So, who is affected? Who may have an NTA but have a valid advance parole? So, people with a pending NTAs at risk. If you have active case in immigration court, CBP may detain or refuse to admit you upon return. Next one is a key one. The permanent residents with the NTA. So we're not just talking people without permanent residency. Even permanent residents, if you have an NTA, are great risk. Some lawful permanent residents, we call them green card holders, who receive NTA due to criminal issues or extended time outside the United States, have been denied reentry. The next one also is important. Conditional residents with a 751 denial and have an NTA are at risk. If your 751 petition to remove the conditions, it means that your conditional resident, it means that your permanent residency is valid for only 2 years. You need to remove that condition so then you get a 10-year green card. So if your 751 petition to remove the conditions on your green card was denied, right? Maybe you filed too late or you failed to show a bona fide relationship. You started together, filed jointly but separated, but you didn't tell USCIS about this. Then you will put it into removal proceeding. You have an NTA. So when your 751 is denied, you'll be placed into removal proceeding. When this happens, the CBP could detain you even if you are previously issued either temporary 551 green card stamp as a proof of your status. So I'm going to talk about this implication of being detained. Very serious under Trump. So if you are detained, if you're placed into detention center, securing release can be challenging. It's not easy. We noticed that it's really, really difficult to get release, either through parole or bond. Also, because of this, you may spend many months in detention centers while your removal proceeding is completed. So you're not going home. You're going through removal proceeding at detention center. Very serious. Number 5. Is it safe to go overseas with DACA Advance Parole if you have a past unlawful presence? This is very serious conversation, but we don't have a definite answers yet. So we're kind of speculating at this point. So right now, there is an uncertainty about whether it is truly safe for DACA recipients with a past unlawful presence to travel abroad with advance parole. Because some of you, before turning 18, you work without authorization. Or your first DACA, when you obtain your first DACA, you're over 18. If any of these two conditions apply to you, then you have some unlawful presence. The question is, was it less than 6 months or was it more than 6 months? Also, in the past, the USCIS didn't grant renewal timely. If you have any period or gap between the previous and the next DACA approval, and then you continue working, which is unlawful employment, thus unlawful presence. Unlike any other employment authorization, DACA requires a possession of approved EAD card for lawful employment. So very tricky, very tricky. In the past, many DACA recipients successfully travel and re-enter the U.S. using advance parole, even if they had accrued unlawful presence before getting DACA in the past. This allows some to later adjust status to permanent residency through marriage. But think twice. If you had any past unlawful presence more than 6 months, you may not return to the U.S. right away. You may be subject to 3-year or 10-year bar if you have any of those. Number 6, what's the takeaway? What do you need to do? Avoid unnecessary travel if you have NTA or past unlawful presence. It's a simple. Just don't go overseas. The risk of complications at the borders or airport too high right now. But if you need to go overseas and if you don't have NTA or past unlawful presence, then make sure that you have a complete documentation to prove that you have no history of unlawful presence. CBP officers simply type up your A number, alien registration number, to see whether you have a pending NTA or not. So, if you don't have NTA, then you don't have any other document. So make sure that you have a document that shows that your A number, alien registration number. Stay informed. Immigration policies can change quickly. And CBP enforcement priorities change quickly as well. Make sure that you're up to date before making any decisions. If you found this information helpful, hit the like button and subscribe for more immigration updates. You can find me on every Thursday live stream, TikTok, YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram. Also, you can find me with my website, blogs, and then YouTube videos and TikTok videos. Share this video with anyone considering international travel with Advance Parole. Stay safe. Plan wisely. More than anything, peace be with you.